What are some healthy habits that a type 1 diabetic can do? Well, I share all of mine with you today, so let's go. Hey everyone, I am Samantha, a type 1 diabetic as of February 18th, 2021, and today I wanted to share some of my healthy habits that I do as a type 1 diabetic to manage my blood sugars, stay in range more often, be healthier overall, feel better overall. And I just wanted to share what I do so that maybe you can take some of what I do to implement in your life to maybe hopefully help manage your blood sugars better. So let's get into my top 4 healthy habits. So my first healthy habit is something I've been doing even before my type 1 diabetes diagnosis, and that is exercise. And I bring up exercise because I feel like I really noticed how big of an impact exercise has on a body once I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Yes, I knew, before, because I was diagnosed in 2021, so somewhat recently, it was about 4 years ago. Obviously before that, I knew that exercise was important, but I would say I exercised mostly so I could eat whatever I wanted. I was like, I need to burn some calories so I can enjoy that plate of nachos later. And that was the primary reason that I would exercise prior to being diagnosed. Now, as a type 1 diabetic, now that I've been living with it for 4 years, I have found other ways that exercise can be extremely beneficial to everyone's body. So not just a type 1 diabetic, but especially a type 1 diabetic, because as you know, we're staring at our blood sugar numbers every 5 minutes because of our CGMs, which, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my CGM, but it can be a little overwhelming because you just see that number popping up every 5 minutes and it can just add some stress to your life. But the good news is you do get to see how things like exercise can be, a positive wellness tool for you and a positive, healthy habit that you can implement into your life to help manage your blood sugars better. So it is kind of crazy because when I see, when I do a lot of exercise, I do tend to have better blood sugars. And then if there's maybe a couple days that I don't do as much exercise, my blood sugars aren't as good. And why is that? Well, it's just because exercise and movement helps manage blood sugar. Yes, because we are taking insulin from an outside source and we're the ones determining how much insulin we get every day. Our bodies aren't doing it for us. We have to do the math in our heads. It sometimes can get scary when exercising and, managing our own insulin, because if we take too much insulin and then we go exercise, we can drop too low, which can sometimes get scary. So you definitely need to it's like a trial and error process. You need to test things out and see how your body reacts to certain things. But exercise is so amazing. And I specifically wanted to talk about walking today. So I'm a big walker. And if you follow me on the Type 1 Tribe Instagram account, you know that I pretty much walk every single day on the treadmill, or if I can, I'll get outside, just depending on the weather or where my daughter is, if she's coming with me or if she's sleeping, I'll walk on the treadmill. But walking has the biggest positive effect on my blood sugars, I think, than any other exercise. The more I walk, the better my blood sugars are, as a simple math. Even if I start to see my blood sugars going up post-meal, as you know, like certain foods hit us like 3 or 4 hours later, which is annoying. I can go for a walk. I might have to take a little bit of insulin, but I can go for a walk and my blood sugar will come back down. Not necessarily immediately, but it will start to, make that trend downwards. And that's why I love walking, because I know that if my blood sugars are going up, then I can go for a simple 10, 20, 30-minute walk, and my blood sugar will then start to trend down after some time. So walking is such a powerful tool for people living with type 1 diabetes. For everyone, of course, but we see it, like I mentioned before, we see it on our CGM. So it's a great way to just help manage your blood sugar and to lower our blood sugar and just really just stay in range more often overall. So I tend to walk in the morning before my daughter wakes up. So before 7 a.m., I'll get in a mile or two if I can. And then I'll also walk later in the afternoon. And like I mentioned, this doesn't have to be a crazy walk. I mean, it can be 10 minutes long, and that will be so beneficial to your blood sugars. Sometimes if you walk like 60 minutes, for example, if you walk 3 miles and it takes an hour and you have insulin on board, that could affect you in a negative way. So you do have to be careful, with your insulin management as well. But overall, walking, movement will be so crucial for your blood sugar management. And it's a wonderful, healthy habit to get into if, it's not something maybe you're taking advantage of right now or not as much. And thankfully, I know warmer weather is right around the corner. And so that will make it easier for a lot of people to just go for like a walk around the block, which is so nice. And so, if you're planning out your springtime and your summertime, like try to plan how can I get a 10 to 15 minute extra walk in every single day to help manage my blood sugars. Maybe that's an afternoon walk, or maybe that's something that you can do after dinner to help manage that post-dinner spike. So I would say my number one healthy habit is definitely movement, exercise, and specifically walking. My second healthy habit is eating a balanced meal diet. I don't love the word diet because it just makes it sound like you're cutting out foods. And while I guess you technically are with a balanced meal diet, I think it's more focusing on like just how to be healthier versus like how to lose weight. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the word diet just like sounds like losing weight, but I don't necessarily mean that. I think your diet should be balanced meals. How can I be a healthier person overall? And so I first off want to say, I don't always eat like a whole food diet. Like, I have chips in the pantry right now because I love chips. If you've watched any of my videos before, you will know that I'm a tortilla chip person. Love my tortilla chips. That's like my guilty pleasure. So I tend to have them in my pantry. So I'm not always eating whole foods. However, I think if you try to follow a whole foods diet, and I don't mean the store Whole Foods, I mean like following a diet where you get food from the ground, for example, or an animal, like eating high protein animal-based diet and eating veggies and things that are grown from the ground, and not necessarily eating the ultra processed food like the tortilla chips. I think following like an 80-20 rule here for that will totally benefit your lifestyle and benefit your blood sugars overall. A lot of type 1 diabetics I see really focus on blood sugars, and yes, you need to do that, but guess what? If you follow a whole foods diet, your blood sugar will naturally just do better. One thing I want to say though is apples are technically a whole part of the whole food diet, right? Apples are amazing for you, but as type 1 diabetics, if we eat just an apple and don't take insulin, like our blood sugars will go up. So I'm not saying that a whole foods diet like won't raise your blood sugar, because it totally can, but it will be better on your blood sugars than like if you were to eat an apple for a snack versus like a whole bag of processed chips, if that makes sense. So a healthy habit that you can do, for the new springtime and summertime, because people start growing veggies and fruit and plants and flowers and all these things in the springtime. So it's a good time to implement that whole food diet. Reach out to a local farm around you to try to find some healthy grass-fed beef and meat and steak and chicken and eggs and all of that. And it's really easy, by the way, to just like Google farms around you, and then you can contact them directly and ask for, if they sell directly. They might have a middleman that does it for them, or you can always go to your farmers markets. So those are probably starting up again in May, which is also like a month and a half away, which is insane. Thank goodness though. I cannot wait for these like warm weather farmers markets, but you can always go there too to find your local farmers. They'll be there with their meat and their fruit and their veggies, that you can get healthy items there. And I also think this is just like fun. It's fun to go to a farmer's market, get these fun items, and avoid going to like the grocery store to get those processed foods. I also think like if you're gonna go to the grocery store, you wanna follow the perimeter of the store where the produce, and then you wanna go to the meat, and then like the dairy area with like the yogurts and the cheese, and then go around. Don't go to the middle of the store because that's where all the processed stuff is. Yeah, you might need to go there for like rice or something, but they do that on purpose. You know, they put the eggs far away, everything, so you have to walk through the middle of the store and grab some chips on the way. Okay, that's why the grocery stores are set up like that. So if you just follow the parameter, try not to buy processed food, following a whole food diet is definitely a healthy hack that I am doing and a healthy lifestyle thing I'm doing, and I think it really helps blood sugars overall as well. Healthy lifestyle hack number 3, and this is really specific to a diabetic, that would be to organize all of your insulin supplies. So yes, it is time for spring cleaning, and that includes diabetes supplies. I was looking through our fridge the other day and then also our closet upstairs where I keep all of my diabetes supplies, and I was like, there's a lot of stuff up here and in my fridge, and I don't even know what's going on. So I went through our fridge the other day, and I actually, because I have like I use insulin pens, so I'm on MDI, so I have a lot of pens in the fridge. And I was like, I don't even know which one I'm supposed to use first, like which one expires first, which one do I have like a couple years to use. And so I went through and I actually took a Sharpie marker, and on the box, because you know I get like 4 pens within one insulin box, I wrote the expiration date. And it's funny because I actually found a box of Basaglar, which is a long-lasting pen that I used like a couple years ago. I'm on Tresiba now, so I don't use Basaglar anymore, but I still had some in the fridge, and I looked and I saw they were expired. And I only found that out because I was organizing my insulin, because I have a lot in there. And so I went through and I wrote, you know, the dates on there that I expired, and I organized them in a way where I know which pen to use first, because I don't want to use a pen, you know, that expires in 3 years and versus one that maybe expires in 2 months. So I went and did that, and that was so nice just for like my mind to like organize my diabetes life. I still need to go to our closet upstairs and organize everything else. So that would be, you know, my Dexcoms are up there, and I'm on G6 still. And so I have, you know, the actual sensors, and then I have the transmitters that I need to organize. I have my test strips up there. I have my needles up there. I don't know. There's a lot of boxes up there, you guys, and I need to organize it. So that is a healthy habit that I am getting into, is trying to organize my diabetes supplies better, because it's one of those things where I like open the closet door and I'm like, oh, and I just like shut it because I don't want to even worry about it. But if it was organized, then I wouldn't look at it like that. So I'm done with the fridge. The fridge and my insulin pens, those are all fine. But now I need to go through the closet upstairs and organize that. So that is a healthy habit that I'm doing that you could do too. You know, it's also one of those times that you can do where you can switch your pricker needle thing that's in there where we test our blood. Because I know a lot of us only do that once a year if we're lucky. So you can go do that today too and get that clean and all those things. So I think at least once a year, it's a good idea to like refresh your diabetes supplies area and make sure that everything is aligned to how you want it to be for like a fresh spring cleaning. My 4th healthy habit to follow this springtime of 2025 is to look at screens less. Now, you might be saying, how does this affect a type 1 diabetic? Well, first off, I want to say, you know, I feel like all over social media, everyone's like, oh, put your phone away after 6 p.m. Don't look at it again until morning. And I always think like, I don't have that luxury to put my phone away because I need the CGM data. And while, yes, I could like use my meter and prick my finger, or I can keep it kind of in like a range so I don't have to look at my phone, but I still can get notifications if something bad happens, like I go low or something. Like, yeah, there's things I can do, but it makes me laugh sometimes because I see those videos and I'm like, I can't do that. I don't got that luxury. I got to keep my phone nearby so I know if I'm about to die or not. But anyway, it's really just like, let's look at screens less. Like, we don't need to be updating our minds every 5 minutes with our blood sugar data. Yes, it is such a helpful tool, but if you're in range, if you're between the 70 and 140 or 120 or whatever the range that you want to be in, 180, whatever it is, you don't need to be staring at your phone every 5 minutes to see the new update. And it was really nice. I don't know if this happened to you guys too, but I have my Dexcom number on my watch. And for some reason, I don't know if it's because like Dexcom was updating or something, but it disappeared from my watch. And at first I was really upset because I was like, oh no, my Dexcom blood sugar number is not on my watch anymore. What am I gonna do? But then after a few hours, I was like, wait, this is kind of nice because I'm not staring at it all day long. And it would still notify me if I was going too high or too low, but I wasn't like actually staring at the number all day long. And it was like a nice little refresher for me. Like I felt like my mind just felt like clearer, and it was really nice. It's back now, so it's on there. But I think that made me realize like, okay, I do not need to see my blood sugar numbers every second of every day. I just don't need to. Like right now I'm 107. So like, I'm fine, right? Like I don't need to be staring at it right now. I'm fine. I also use a glucose, which is also very nice because then like, it's the same thing. You don't have to stare. You can just see that you're in the green area, which is the wonderful number. And you don't have to worry about like, what physical number are you at? And so that's nice too, because then if you don't have a glucose, you should look them up because they're awesome. Like it will trend red if you're going low, and it will trend purple if you're getting too high. And so you could just look at that and be like, oh, you know, it's purple. Maybe I should look at my number and see if I need to take insulin. So you don't actually have to like say like, oh my gosh, I'm at 107 right now. Like you don't need to know the actual number. And so that's what I mean by like, let's look at screens less. Even at night, I think like I always have my phone on my bedside table next to me because I want it close for glucose reasons. But I'm starting to think like, okay, I can still have it nearby, but it doesn't need to be on my desk. Like maybe I'll put it under my bed or something along those lines. So those are just other ways that you don't have to necessarily be staring at your screen, staring at your Dexcom numbers, staring at your pump information. Like we don't need to be staring at all day long. We can put our phones away for a second and we'll still survive. So that is my 4th healthy habit for you today. I hope you can take advantage of one of these healthy habits, put it into your life this springtime, and just feel a lot of like mental clarity and just like refreshness during the spring cleaning time, because this is what it's for. It's not only for your house, it's also for your mind, your body, your health, and all of that. So thank you so much for tuning in to today's video and podcast episode, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Are you looking to lower your A1C, stay in range more often, and just feel better overall? If so, check out my ebook below. It has a bunch of amazing information about diabetes. It has information about exercise, about diet, about insulin management. It has recipes in there. It's just a great tool to have on hand if you're looking to lower your A1C, stay in range more often, and feel better. It's something that you can look at whenever you need access to it. And the really cool thing is you have it for life. So anytime there's an update, you will get access to that update, which is awesome. Lifetime access. What's better than that? So check out my ebook below, click the link, and let me know if you have any questions.